My name is Carlin Rogers, and this is my presentation on the effects of COVID-19 on high school students. As I'm sure most of you have, I experienced the impacts of the pandemic and the drastic shift to distance learning firsthand. I've also heard many different online stories, so I wondered what the story of online learning looked like across the nation. Were high schools across North Carolina experiencing the same issues as my own? To explore this question, I met and interviewed with a well-known teacher from Watauga High School in Boone, North Carolina. During her time at Watauga High, she has taught a wide variety of courses, including interior design and business. She has also served as the distance learning coordinator. She was able to give me useful insight into the world of online learning from a teacher's perspective. The COVID-19 pandemic brought about many challenges that students had to overcome, particularly high school students. Many students faced issues at home because of the dramatic shift of jobs around the country. Of course, this ultimately affected their mental health and in turn their academic performance. This graph visualizes the responses of high school students' opinions on distance learning. As you can see, the majority of respondents prefer in-person classes as opposed to online learning. Many of these students also reported that they were worried about their academic performance during COVID. These issues left many students falling behind. In turn, motivation among students declined. This graph represents the percentage of students that reported high self-motivation. The numbers drastically decrease as grade level rises. This low motivation eventually manifested as a grade-wide shortfall of standards. Educators across the country have dubbed this deficit between student knowledge and grade level standards as the COVID learning gap. According to some research, it could take upwards of 5 months of extra instruction to bridge the gap caused by the shift to online learning. Students were not the only ones experiencing hardships. Underprepared teachers were thrown into a whole new world of balancing online classes with their own personal responsibilities. Not only were they expected to fully transition lesson plans to virtual class settings, but also to keep students engaged and encouraged. Without the valuable experience of talking face-to-face, this proved to be extremely difficult. In fact, many teachers left their profession because of the hardships of the pandemic. Many schools have resorted to extra instruction in the forms of summer school and after-school care. This is also the case for Watauga High. The teachers that I talked with are optimistic about the positive impacts of these efforts and have seen the effects of these firsthand. Additional help has come in the form of extra tutors and individualized learning. All of these efforts are slowly progressing to close this learning gap. Overall, the COVID-19 pandemic has made lasting impacts on the world of education. Although we are still working towards full recovery, educators across the board have high hopes for the future.